So, originally I was going to start this video with just a whole bunch of updates because about midway through the week, like literally nothing had happened in the brony community. But then literally everything happened in the brony community, but I'm still starting with the updates because I live on the wild side. So first off, and you may have been expecting this announcement, but the brony videos are now officially on a weekly basis. That is either on Friday or Saturday nights, typically Fridays, mind you. I will be doing one of these videos on all the news that has happened in the fandom since the last one of these. Now keep in mind, this is not limited to just the analysis community, even though I often do limit it. This can also include things like the animation community, for instance, or the music community of the brony fandom, which I haven't really gotten into. This also includes the new episodes of the show, or something related to the show. Which is going to be really helpful because in case you haven't heard, Season 8 is officially airing its first episode about a week from now, on March 24th. Which will also be the next time I do one of these. Meaning, yes, I will more than likely talk about the beginning of Season 8 in my next one of these. Of course, one of the things that was announced is that in Season 8, the My Little Pony movie that came out in theaters not too long ago is officially going to be considered canon with the series, which also ties nicely into, look what I have! I currently am in possession of a Blu-ray copy of the My Little Pony movie, the 2017 one, in case you haven't figured that out. I watched it and figured I'd give it a little bit of a review to begin the video. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is I thought the movie was pretty okay overall. I think the humor was typically good, most of the jokes landed just fine, and there weren't any that I'd really call groan-worthy. There were a couple, like early on in the movie when they mentioned going to the hippos. It makes sense in context, I swear. You know, three of them go, hungry, hungry, hippos, you get it? That's a thing Hasbro also owns. It's clever, I swear. But typically the movie is at least funny in most regards. I'd also have to say, as for the characters, well, the main six are there, and they're in full force. It's absolutely a blast to watch them, and typically one of the most enjoyable parts of the film. As for some of the new characters they have, well, I'll just go through them real quick. The only ones that are really worth remembering are Capper and the villains. Capper I really liked because he was really sly and shady, and I've always liked villains like that. Villains who are just like, yeah, I'm bad. So what? Of course, that is until around the third act where he just goes, I didn't care, but you ponies have made me care. I care now. Wait, how do we know he cares? I care now. I'm convinced. That was pretty much that scene. Mind you, Capper was the only one of those characters I actually liked. Tempest felt like she was asleep half the time. I'd actually be fine describing her as an ASMR villain. And while her song was one of the better ones in the movie, she still just felt kind of bland. You guys remember the villain Shadowplay? She's essentially that. Now granted, I think this is about the same level as Shadowplay, so yeah. Storm King is also essentially just Diet Discord. His entire joke is, guys, I'm a villain, but I'm also kinda silly. Okay, I've seen that joke before. What's your twist on it? There's no twist. I'm just a villain, but kinda silly. Are you at least funny during it? No. In fact, I only get really about 10 minutes of screen time in the entire thing, which is really odd considering how I'm the main villain. Oh. And then there was Tempest's henchman, or henchman in this case, or hench thing that was stolen from Lilo and Stitch, which I was just annoyed by the entire film. Like, you could have took him out of the film and nothing would have been lost. In fact, it would probably have been better because his entire joke is,
I'm inconfident. Isn't that funny?
No, he does not sound like an old lady in the film, don't worry. I don't know, the animation was typically good, although the Toon Boom styles didn't really mesh well in other scenery. For instance, the scene where they're in, like, the gang town, essentially, didn't mesh well, because it didn't fit. It didn't look right. You know, they were these incredibly detailed characters, and then we get to this, and they're still detailed, but in different ways, and it's just... It's weird to look at. You can kind of see that on the cover of the DVD, however, you'll know it especially if you just watch the movie. And the music was typically bland. The only two songs I really say I like were Open Up Your Eyes and Friend You Need. Those were the only two I can really say I remembered in any sort of detail. The rest just felt like kind of bland pop. But overall, would I recommend the My Little Pony movie? Yeah, it's a pretty good watch, especially if you're a brony. If you are not already a brony, I would not recommend this be your starting point. But I'd still think this is overall a pretty decent film. You know, I'm glad I watched it once at least. Now this news started when I was over on the E4B because I only make the best life choices. Essentially, they made a post called When I See People Still Try to Continue the Bronalysis Drama. They're a drama blog, by the way, just figured I should remind you. And they show Mare doing that, you know, that, oh, I'm annoyed face. But here's what Death Pony, in fact, had to say about this. Seriously, do something with your sad lives. Nobody gives two shits if you're going to whine about Dr.Wolf D&D sessions. Now, Lily Pete videos, on the other hand, that's where the real money is. Get over yourself. And they even tagged Hi Ephrom in this, in which case, here is my response. Hi. Now, a guy named Leo Convoy called them out on their hypocrisy, saying, yes, tell more people how they shouldn't care while you show that you do. That'll show him. To which Death Pony responded, I'm not the one who's whining about D&D sessions that you don't need to watch, boyo. But apparently, you do need to watch mine. You literally everything you show on this blog, though. Great logic there, mate. This was also kind of odd they tagged me, because I didn't really talk about the Dr. Wolf D&D thing. Because I actually didn't care until you guys started a giant drama about it. Because of course you did, because you guys are the brony community. What do I expect at this point? However, do you know who did care about the D&D sessions? Josh Scorcher. To the point where, in a call between him, Patchwork, and Lily, he said he was not going to upload said sessions. Because, you know, it's not really a good idea to upload things with a pedophile in them. Just, especially after you figure it out. Or at least, you would have to figure it out. And you have to at least say you figured it out at this point. You know, now you can then call for forgiveness. I'm sorry, your good Christian forgiveness. That's the actual excuse he used. But you gotta at least say you figured it out at this point, Josh. Oh, wait, what? What? Josh actually did, talk about uploading them? Oh, okay, at least he didn't say that Patchwork gave him permission or anything. Like when he said, we discussed this in a recent call, and Patchwork gave me their permission to upload the D&D session. Oh. That call, by the way, is linked in the description, and if you can find me that part, I will be amazed. Also, I figured I should address the elephant in the room. There was another call recorded and uploaded by Lily Pete. However, that one I am not going to really talk about because Patchwork's audio glitched out and we cannot hear Josh in that call, so I have no clue what he's saying. And I'm going to be nice and assume Josh didn't say anything incriminating during that entire call. Okay? Because I'm just a nice guy like that. No one ever let me say that ever again. Now, Lily Pete made a video calling them out on this, specifically targeted at Josh, and that video is currently down by the community that totally supports freedom of speech. Okay? Let's get that clear. They support freedom of speech while they flag other people's videos because they called them out on things. This is just stare. Is anything in this fandom not hypocritical at this point? Now, mind you, considering how Patchwork was a victim of Toons, I'd assume that E4B and Brittany would be all in favor of her. After all, Brittany did write a post with the title, "The victims are the only ones who matter." The people who are directly involved in an abusive situation should be the ones who get the final say in how the abuser is dealt with. If you are an outsider who is not directly involved with the abuser or the victim, then sit the fuck down and let them handle it how they see fit. Your opinion means jack shit. You have taken a bad situation and made it impossible to deal with and move on from because you think your personal opinion and feelings matter more than the person who were actually involved in it. May I remind you, Patchwork had to delete their comment on a couple of my videos because people like you, didn't exactly follow that mantra. We'll leave it at that. And what did Patchwork say, by the way? That Wolf and Silverquill should be punished. I know, that was a terrible blow. I cry for them every time, don't worry. But here's the post about the video in question that Lily made. And in this one, a few of the E4B mods stepped up to the plate. First, let's just start with the guy who submitted it. Really scraping the barrel, Pete. Also, thanks for showing how much of an idiot you are, cause anyone who does research would know that Josh and Dr.Wolf has stated that they removed Toon from all projects once they found out what he did. Excuse me for a second. Okay, I'm done now. No, where were we? With a brain... While anyone with a brain that's not the size of a literal pea would figure out that it takes time and effort to make videos. You know, things you never or hardly do. Pete makes like 3 or 4 videos a week. What are you talking about? That one didn't even make any sense. At least normally there's some weird theory behind it. This one just... what? So there would be not yet released videos with another a-hole in it. Here's the thing, good sir. You can get rid of footage that's been previously stored on a PC without uploading it. And you want to know what my proof of this is? Golden Fox, yes, we're praising Golden Fox again. This is really weird to do, I know. Had a remastered review of a video that had Toon Critic in it, where he was essentially going to take it and fix it up a little and make it better. He then scrapped it for very obvious reasons. Just how at this point? How is it that it's been about 2 months and these people don't actually want to have a discussion? They want to say exactly where we were just before this whole thing happened. And they will shame every single person who dares say maybe we should use this and learn from it. And for that matter, may I remind you, the thing Lily Pete did was catch someone in a lie. A direct lie. And this is their response. The victim... Space Mayor steps up with this. In my opinion, making the whole series with Tunis appear is like saying he didn't and never existed. With these videos still out, people can see how much of a douchebag he was, and see how much those people tolerated him. Making them disappear would be an even bigger insult to the victims. Okay, one, no one's saying make them disappear, they're just saying don't upload the ones that aren't already uploaded. And two, you know who disagrees with you on that? The actual victims. Lily Pete also, or not Lily Pete, Death Pony, also has this great note. Obviously, Lily Pete hates how they're in a neutrality stance. Yes, Death! I would also be kind of annoyed if people were neutral on the issue of pedophiles. It's not exactly a two-sided issue, Death, unless you believe it is, in which case, okay, you can explain that. I actually want you to explain that. Feel free to explain why you feel people should be neutral on pedophilia. Then Brittany reblogged it with this amazing post. Patchwork needs to realize Lily doesn't actually give a damn about them or how they feel. Lily's only focus is hurting Josh. Gee, I wonder why Lily Pete would kind of dislike the fact that someone directly lied to their audience. I thought this is the kind of thing you people were supposed to be against, but not when Josh Scorcher does it. This is a cult mentality. They see something and they find a way to justify it. It's, it turns out Josh lied. Well, how did you get that? How did you, you got it through a Skype call? Oh, well, did he know you were recording? Oh, and for that matter, aren't you a bad person? Oh, and aren't you only focused on hurting him? And it's just a bunch of non-arguments made to distract you from the real point because they knew that if they talked about the real point, they'd lose every time. And I'm almost positive her vendetta against him is particularly nasty because she holds the hots for him, and he turned her down before she had the chance to get bored with him. To be fair, she does have the exact same amount of training in psychology as Dr. Wolf. Lily does not care about you. She only cares about you. She doesn't care about you. Oh, but she only cares about you if you can give her what she wants. English! Amazing! I figured to really get the full story, though, I had to go to someone who has his finger on the pulse of what the community wants. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go back to man with no personality. I mean night tie-dye. I mean night tie-dye. The man with no personality. Let's see what he had to say on this issue. So, from what I heard last night, Lily's fans have dislike-bombed the D&D videos so much that Wolf is just gonna do highlight videos until they reach the ones that don't have tune in them. Okay, that's fair. You know, they expressed their disagreement with it. And then Dr. Wolf looked at that and said, I'm going to change how I approach that. That's fine. That's how a free society has things typically go. Let's see what he had to say. Congratulations, Lily. Your bully tactics worked. Remember, guys, disliking a video is bullying now. I'm sure Patchwork is happy to know those big, mean anti-feminists. What does this have to do with feminism exactly? Have to cut up all their hard work just so your fifis aren't hurt anymore. Oh God. You have to actually do things. Oh no, not things. Those are the worst things to do. Just... Our last story tonight has to do with performance major. I'm sorry, guys. I know It's kind of gross to talk about him, but you kind of have to from time to time. He recently put out a video called I Was Wrong and I'm Sorry, in which he apologizes for being a pedophile, which isn't really the kind of thing you just apologize for. Mr. Performance Major, you broke the law. Well, not only doing that, you also, I'm just going to be blunt here, essentially molested children. That's what you essentially did. I'm not really sorry. You're not gonna get off on this with a simple, guys, I know that what I did was wrong now. No, that's not how this is gonna work. At least I hope it's not, but, you know, maybe he's using a different definition of sorry that actually is much stronger and means he has stopped. Who knows? I mean, he is the biggest erotic role player there is, so who knows if he did stop. I just said who knows way too many times. I'm Ephrom, and good night.